Hello everyone and welcome to Season 4 Race 4 around Monza. So far we have got 12 out of the 13 people in. We are just having an issue with Devil's Motorsport, but he will be here periodically. Sorry for the bit of a delay. We have had a bit of trouble getting people invited, but that is all sorted out now. Currently no one is looking to get out the pits, but we will just wait and see. It looks like weather is dry, so we should see very fast cars going around Monza, as Devil Motorsport has now joined. As now we have got movement in the Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren pit box, as now we should see them get out very soon. And DJTT 2024 is the first person to get out on track, swinging it right and left through the first chicane. Behind him is the Alpine of Daisy, and then we have got Bell and Funny Wave Band right behind each other as well. As Devil's Motorsport has now finally joined, as DJTT letting cars go past him, as he is going slow, trying to heat up his tyres, make sure he has clean air ready for his run. Currently we have got Marcy and only Marcy out on the intermediate tyre. As you can see, it is actually raining a little bit, I believe. Alright, here's Daisy. He's going to be the first person to start a qualifying lap around Monza Race 4. He's going to be reaching a high speed of nearly 350 kilometers per hour. It's hard braking into turn 1. He gets a perfect turn 1 and 2. He has a bit of a wobble on the exit, but he manages to keep the car nice and steady, and that was a good start, as there is a yellow flag. But I believe that is just because DJTT is going very slowly, so no issues here. As we cut to Daisy, literally just jumping over those curbs, trying to cut as much time as possible as he flicks it to the right, carrying a ton of speed through these turns. Trying to make sure he doesn't invalidate. Did he invalidate? Yes, he did. He will be wanting to get off the battery, save as much fuel, and possibly go for another lap. So now the next person to set a lap will be Marcy, and they have not invalidated yet, but they are on the intermediate tyre, as everyone else is on the dries. As they've gone purple sector 2, but that's because they're the first person to pass. As there is a yellow flag as one of the McLarens is going slowly, and it's Bell because he has, oh my god, sorry, he has invalidated his qualifying lap, as now Funny Waveband has also done the same, also almost causing contact between these two drivers in qualifying, as Daisy comes into the pits and Marcy goes P1 on the intermediates with a 122.835. Lucas coming into the pits as well, as he also invalidates. As we have Worm, who's on the softs, goes P1 with a 119.614. Incredible lap there, but can anyone beat it? Yes, Lightcast with an amazing lap, 1.2 seconds faster than the man who's than the person who was in P2, but has been taken by Lucas Racing, who goes P2. As my cat is clawing at the door, so I'm gonna have to let him in a quick minute. Sorry about that. as Sultan Kepa goes faster than Lucas Racing, taking that P2 position and that front row by a measly 0.07 seconds. Incredible. As there's once again another yellow flag in Sector 3, but that is just because we have got Marcy running out of fuel just as they enter the pits. And here we ride on board with the person who's currently in P1, Lightcast, with an amazing lap of a 1:18.4. As now we have Devils Motorsport. As we have Devils Motorsport who goes to set a lap. I don't think he set a lap though. I think he might have invalidated. As Daisy is on an outlap and so is Burl. Funny Wave Band, he's just started his outlap. As we're on board with Hayden as he does set a purple Sector 2, flying across the curbs in Ascari. Going to be pushing with most of its ERS down this back straight. Some slight braking at the number 50 board. Flick it to the right, put the power down all the way up until the black and white flag. Oh sorry, the checkered line, and he sets it P2 by 0.3 of a second. Lightcast still holds P1 as we have got Devils Motorsport who is in the gravel, just driving in the gravel. Has something gone wrong, or is he just retiring the car? Oh, he's back. He is back. Completely missed it, but Honey Badger has set a lap time of a 1:18.997, just edging into the 1:18 second lap time, just beating out Worm by 0.7 and just being below Lucas by 8 milliseconds. Incredible driving by these drivers. As Devils is once again in the gravel and he's in the wall. What has happened here? Trying to get the car out, he's lost his front wing. Trying to get the car out, backs it up, swinging it to the right. Here we are on board with DJTT as there is the Mercedes on the left, flying past as he comes back on the track. As the Haas is also causing a yellow flag, don't know why, and I don't know if that was a glitch in the game. As now we're on with Hayden, who's starting another flying lap, very low fuel, not as much ERS as they would have hoped. As they come around the long right-hander, getting ready for the second chicane in the start of Sector 2, left and the right, bouncing over the curbs. Oh, and he goes too much and invalidates his lap. Sultan Kepa just going slowly, letting the drivers past him so he can also keep a clean nose and a clean lap. Here we are on board with two of the three drivers that have not set a lap time. Here we are with the Rebel of DJTT, who's going to set his lap time before the other two. Swinging it through Ascari, going over the curbs. He's going to have a slight toe down this straight by the Williams that is just ahead of him. Braking late, flicking it to the right, slight lock up on the front right, but he manages to keep it under control, burning the rest of the battery as he's now ran out. Coming up to the line, and he goes P4 with a 1:18.858, just beating Marcy by 1 millisecond. Incredible laps by these two. As now we're with Lucas, who comes around the final turn, going to burn the rest of the battery, moves over to the right, and he goes P7. Here we are with Lightcast, who is setting a personal best 3/10 up, 3.5 tenths up in the second sector. Going to be going late and heavy braking in the final turn. Flick it to the right, touching the inside curb for rotation. Moving over to the right, and they improve their best by 4/10 of a second with a 1:18.056. Incredible lap, putting them 7/10 ahead of their teammate in P2. Currently it's a Kick Sauber 1-2. As Devil's Motorsport has actually left the session. I don't know if that's a connection issue or a little bit of a rage quitting. I do not know. We will follow that up. As Bell, who is in last by 1.5 seconds, is driving very oddly. I think they were just trying to burn off some fuel so they can push a lot faster on their final lap, as they almost block their teammate who's on a flying lap. Yellow flag in sector 2, that is because of a Kick Sauber going slowly, and that is Lightcast. As we cut over to funny wave band going into the wall, clipping the grass on the entry of the turn. Big crash by the McLaren driver. Here we are on board with Live Band. Are they going to go into the pits? Yes, they are, peeling into the pits. As Lucas goes P2 by 3/10 to Hayden, splitting the two Kick Saubers. It would appear that Devil's Motorsport has actually had an internet issue, but he will be with us periodically, hopefully. As here we are on board with Hayden the G, going for a new fastest lap. The first sector will come to an end just after here. Will he be up in time? He is up by 4/10 of a second. Incredible. This would only put him 3/10 behind the current pole sitter. He glimpses over the gravel on the exit. Can he push and find another 3/10 in the end of this lap? Dancing over the curbs goes the Kick Sauber. Can he just find that little bit extra time to put him ahead of his rivals? At the end of the second sector, we find him 5/10 up. Incredible lap. Getting very close to the track limits across these final turns. In the third sector, only one turn left, stopping him from a temporarily P1 position. Pole position, one of the best places to start on Monza, as he's going to go across the line, as he actually gets beaten by the Alpine, and he goes P2 by only 1/10.5. Incredible lap by these two Kick Saubers. Bell messaging in the Discord chat saying what's happened to my teammate, and I've just had to sadly inform him how he clipped the grass on entry. He will not be happy about that, as he knew he could definitely find time. So far this session we've had Lightcast P1, Hayden the GP2, Lucas temporarily P3, as there is a yellow flag in sector 3, but that is just because of someone entering the pit lane. We've had Lightcast P1, Hayden P2, Lucas P3, and we've had Devil with a internet issue and a Funny Wave Band who crashed out after clipping the grass on entry in the final turn. Coming into the pit lane goes Hayden, as he's going to try put on some new soft compound tyres and get ready for another push lap, as we see Worm getting ready to have another push lap. He's burned half his ERS on the straight already, heavy braking into turn 1, clipping the inside curbs, trying to make sure he gets the power down. He has a slight slip but not enough to hopefully lose in time, burning more of the battery as he's now down to almost a quarter of a tank. And in the first sector he's 1/10 up on the lead at Lightcast. Incredible. Flying into the two right-handers as there's a yellow flag in sector 1. I believe that is just because people are going slowly, as I see a Ferrari cutting the chicane in turn 1 on the map. Yellow flag in sector 2 because of the Haas, but I think they're just going slowly as he gets very close to the track limits on the inside there. Wow, what a lap this is going to be from Worm. Can we maybe see him pushing a top 2 or 3? He's riding out the final corner. Will he be able to find any time this lap? Burning the battery to the end, and he only finds himself P8. A very scruffy end to the lap. And there's Worm retiring the car, as he believes he will not be able to find any more time, and he is happy with his position. As now we were Lightcast who actually invalidated their lap on the outlap. I'm guessing because they've gone out super late and they're trying to get to the time limit. As there is the McLaren of Bill going very, very slowly. Almost, he's actually stopped on the track. And he gets going again, just ahead of the Williams of Salt and Kepa. As Honey Badger also retires, believing that they will not be able to find any more time. As now we're going to be riding aboard with Lightcast, who has so far had a very dominant qualifying as they get very close to these sausage curves in turn 102. Incredible. And Hayden cutting very close on the time limit there. As Lightcast now pushing in sector 1, will he be up on his time? No, he's not. He's down by 18 milliseconds. He's going to fly through the second chicane, taking all the exit curb, flying to the right, early on the power, letting the car run out, and doing the same thing again, hoping to not invalidate like we've seen many people do so far, as DJTT is the first person to cross the line properly and does a 1:18.606. As Daisy now retires from the session. I believe that is just because... Oh no, he's in the wall. He is in the wall. Wow, I hope... After this, we will look at his sector times to see if he was up on his time. But Lightcast is going to go through the final turn. Will this be a P1 position? Very close on track limits. Don't know how they did invalidate. All the way to the right. And they find even more time. Into the 1:17s goes Lightcast. Daisy was up on his lap time after we found him in the barriers at the end of Ascari. And very unfortunate for him, as Hayden was too far down his lap time, backs out the lap. And this will be our starting grid. We're going to have Lightcast P1, Hayden P2, Lucas P3, Daisy P4, the Red Bull of DJTT P5, and that's the rest of all I saw. Both of the McLarens are hit with a 5-place grid penalty. What on earth happened there? Lightcast P1, Hayden P2, Lucas P3, Daisy P4, DayGTT P5, Salt and Kepper P6, Honey Badger P7, Marcy 8, Worm 9, Lucas 10, Funny Wave Band 11, Burl 12, and Devil Who's Not Here P13. And now, after the 5-minute break, so people could calm down and get ready to change their setups, as we have both McLarens DSQ'd. I'm guessing they have ran into each other on the start. I'm pretty sure, but I don't get anything that is told to me. As now we are going to get ready to see. Oh, I'm sorry, I've just had a complete brain fart. We're going to see a Kickstarter 1-2 start, as we have Lightcast on mediums. As I'm just going to put on tyres so I can see, we have Lightcast on mediums and Hayden on hards, everyone else on mediums until we get to Marcy and P8 who's on hards, Wormy on mediums, and the other 4 behind them on hard compound tyres. And now we have got Lightcast and Hayden going through the final turn, finishing off their formation lap. Weaving right and left, trying to get heat into the tyres, as Hayden's having none of it, flying straight past them, just so he can get into the pit box faster. As that's Cook's elbows aligned, everyone else is coming into their pits, into their starting grid positions, and Marcy getting ready to go. A little burnout and parks up nice, and that looks like everyone is ready. And that's lights out and away we go. Incredible reaction by Lightcast, as Hayden has a bit of a bog down and Lucas Racing gets ahead, and Daisy is looking to maybe make a double overtake on this race start as he goes around the outside. Is there any chaos behind? 3 wide periodically as Son has to go across the tarmac, and that's Honey Badger, who's found himself very far behind us. Funny Waveband has found a lot of time, decent positions. Bell is now P11. Worm has fallen very far back. I wonder if he's had contact or anything. And Devil's Motorsport, who is not here, is last. Incredible race start by Daisy here. Funny Waveband just getting by Honey Badger as they were wheel to wheel, as Bell just clips the inside grass, making him run wide, losing time to Honey Badger. Surprisingly, there was no contact at all during this start, unless there was, but nothing major to lose a front wing or anything. But that was an incredible start by these drivers, as we have got Lucas maybe pushing all the way up to the Alpine, looking to the inside to maybe force the Alpine into a mistake. But nothing of the such happens, as Funny Waveband trying to pass his teammate at Burl, as they are now wheel to wheel. Lightcast sets the fastest lap as they are the first to cross the line. Some slight contact between these two, as Waveband is all the way over to the right. Is he going to put him on the grass? Contact has been made, banging tyres, late on the brakes. Around the outside goes Bell, but that's going to quickly switch to the inside. He's going to force him very close, as Bell has actually got wing damage. His front right end plate is damaged. Worm having a very nice view with his lovely battle between these two, as here is the possible race strategies. It is going to be a 2-stop race maybe, as Funny Waveband goes straight on and is very fortunate to see himself not in the wall. Daisy almost breaking DRS on P3, but he is going to be burning a bit of his battery to stay close. Salt Cape and oh my god, his name is so hard for me to pronounce. Salt Kepa is very close to P3 though. But someone who is close is these two as they go wheel to wheel, and that's Bell in the wall. Burl is in the wall at the first half of Ascari. What's happened here? He gets going, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some hefty wing damage on that McLaren. Maybe he might have to pit to get a new wing. As Burl now peels into the pits, going for possibly a new front wing, changing the strategy, possibly to a 3-stop, as they have retired from the race. Lightcast now on lap 3, not even losing a single position. Maybe they could go for a very nice Grand Slam here, but we don't know, as they're going to go to the left, to the right, and to the left again, bumping over the curbs, hopefully not unsettling the car too much. But Daisy just 5 tenths, now 4 tenths behind the leader. Maybe they're going to go for a move on the next straight. Speaking of a move, we have got Hayden making a move on Sultan Kepa. Wow, I wish I was there to see that. Up the inside, and that is the position. Daisy now got the DRS open, using the battery, slowly gaining, as there's a yellow flag, and that is Funny Waveband in the wall. Both the McLarens not having a nice day today, as they both find themselves in the wall. Funny Waveband now peeling into the pits to get a new front wing or retire from the race, as they have also retired. As we miss Daisy and Lightcast go wheel to wheel. What's happened here to Honey Badger? Honey Badger losing so many positions but gaining some of them back. No, sorry, it's Hayden the G. He saw so many positions, he went from P3 all the way down to P8. How's this happened? As now Lucas ghosting through him as Hayden's not here. Has Hayden left? Or has he retired? Hopefully it will just be connection issues for Hayden, as we do not want anyone to be facing this, just like Devil is at the moment. I have tried to make an attempt to getting him back in here, but it was not successful. I will try again though. Worm and Devil having their own little battle of their own, as now they're inside of each other, and Worm will try to get the better exit. Will he manage to get it? He has, and he's already broken that second gap. Now back to the bit that we want to see, the P1 and 2 battle, all very, very slippery on the rear from Daisy. Maybe he's already incurring some tyre wear, we do not know, because I am unfortunately on Xbox and cannot see tyre wear data. But not close enough on this straight. Will they be able to do it on the pit straight? As Hayden's now requesting that I invite him back, I will do that now if I have got him. Yes, there he is. I have invited him back. As Hayden is now back, as he falls to P9 now, 7-second gap between him and P8. Well, this is not going to be a very good race for him. Lightcast still managing this race very nicely, but he is definitely under constant pressure by Daisy. This may be stressing both of their tyres out though, but still it is P1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 very close to each other. P6 not very far behind, but just falling outside of that DRS game. Sorry, that DRS zone. As Hayden, who is now back, now going to be pushing to get up as DJJ-OT now gets a 3-second penalty, and so does Worm. As Worm's fallen even further behind, but that is because they have made their first pit stop of the race. As Daisy falling very, very far behind Lightcast. What's gone on here? As now he has broken a second. There is no DRS for Daisy. What's happened? And now we have got DJTT in the pits. I'm probably going for new hard compound tyres. Yes, there they are, ready for him on the car, no issues, and he's gone. Daisy not able to get back into the DRS zone of Lightcast. This could be an opportunity for him to bomb it away and possibly win by a very nice margin here. And now we have got a move by Marcy on Salt and Kepa, as they both have DRS open, but I think they just let him pass, knowing that they're faster on those hard tyres, just letting them drag them along with the DRS. As Hayden, the man that we all are going to feel sorry for, is now 6 seconds behind. They are definitely gaining, but will it be enough to get back into the fight for decent points? As now we have got Salt and Kepa peeling into the pits to get rid of those medium compound tyres. Could we maybe see one of the top three going for a one-stop here? As Marcy now overtakes their teammates, no issues there. As Honey Badger also is in the pits, getting new hard tyres. Lightcast here just being able to run away nicely with that nice 1.6 second buffer, but another buffer of 1.6 seconds is Daisy to Marcy, as Daisy is now spun. He's spun it. Just taking that a little bit too much inside curb, just making the car unsettled just that much more, and he spins around. Very unfortunate here. But this is going to be feeling even better for Lightcast, as now the only two competitors that he had for this race is now P5 and 6 after they both make big mistakes. As Lightcast still does not pit, going on to lap 9. Could this be a one-stop strategy by this driver? I do not know, as now Lucas comes into the pits to get rid of those medium tyres, which he knows it's not working for Daisy. Speaking of Daisy, they are also into the pits, knowing that those tyres were not the right option anymore, as they pit for new hard compound tyres. Daisy falling behind even more positions, coming out of the pit lane. Peeling over out of the pit straight and into the chicane goes Daisy, very, very far behind. But here's Lightcast, the person who's been on the medium tyres longest than anyone else on the track. Could this maybe mean that they're going for a very long stint or a one stop from the medium to the hards? But by the look of those tyres, it will be very difficult at this stage. nothing really happening now, as everyone has made a nice gap between each other and settling in nicely into the race, as that is Salt and Kepa making a big mistake. But was it a mistake, or was it just DRS mind games, as they now have DRS on the Red Bull? The Red Bull's going to squeeze them very tightly, but they both get through, and now we might see. And Lucas goes straight on into the runoff, left, right, left, and that is very unfortunate, as they still get a 10-second penalty. Going on the runoff, still losing time and still getting that 10 seconds, but that is because they came out ahead of both the drivers just as they got back on the track. Very unfortunate, as they just managed to clip those curbs wrong, sending them completely out of DRS range. But speaking of DRS range, Marcy is getting much closer. It's now DJJT has lost so much time and so many positions. Did they have a spin? Yes, they did. I don't think they have a front wing. They do not. Oh my god, what's happened here to this Red Bull? As now we have a light cast on lap 9, officially making a pit stop, starting lap 10. As now we have got a new race leader of Marcy, who has been fighting from the midfield since the start. Incredible start. And is now looking to maybe finish on the podium. As the lightcast now comes out, P4, but is going to be biting, sorry, not biting, but fighting with Salt and Kepa as they go battling through the chicane. As Lucas is not far behind, who's on fresh medium compound tyres. As now DJJT is now in the pits. As they get put down and is set off with a new front wing and soft compound tyres. Daisy, not very happy with his little mishap that he had, is now pushing all he can on hard compound tyres. He's going to be pushing as much as he can, trying to give him as much time as he can, trying to get into DRS and maybe find himself battling for another podium. As here we have got the position changes. Marcy, who started in P8, now finds themselves P1. Lucas, who started in P10, now finds themselves in P2. Oh, sorry, P9 they started. No, they started P10, I'm right. As there is a safety car. There is a safety car, as that is DJJT, who has possibly brought out the safety car. Trying to see if they have got lost their front wing. They have. I don't know if they've spun again, but that would be very unlikely, as they now retire and leave the session. There's a safety car on track, which is going to be very good for these hard runners, as they're going to have a free pit stop. And who's very good? Who is this very good for? Hayden, the man who had the big moment of having an issue with his internet, is now P3, going to pit and be in a very good position. As now we have got P1, 2 and 3 peeling into the pits. Will P4 go in there as well, as they have just actually started their fresh hard compound tyres. I think they will stay out and should stay out, but will they peel in the pits? They do not. They stay out. Hayden is now in for his stop. Salt and Kepa has had a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Hayden, now coming out of the pits, is going to find himself P5 and just behind the leaders. Marcy, the man who's the person who started almost in last, has now found himself in P1, assaulting Kepa after the 10-second penalty, decides that he's had enough with the race and leaves the session. The rest of the field just bunching up now as Devils and Worm, or sorry, AI and Worm, pass where Salt and Kepa left his car. Lightcast, Daisy, Honey Badger, Lucas and Worm possibly going to be struggling to keep their tyres up to temperature around here, but they will be able to do a lot of moving, but there's not many turns they can produce the heat in their tyres to get a good restart. I'm going to be taking a quick little break so I can get a drink, as I'm very thirsty. As Hayden now peels into the pits. What's happened? Did they just select the wrong tyre? As they put on new hard compound tyres, but they will find themselves almost in last place. Safety car should be in this lap, as we find Daisy in the pits. Maybe listening to what Hayden did and pitting for another set of hard compound tyres. Will they be able to go to the end on this compound? Marcy now is going to be getting as much heat into those tyres, and so will Lightcast, as Lightcast will definitely be able to want to make a move in turn 1, as that is the best position to make it do on this track. And there it is, race control, safety car in this lap. These 4 drivers are going to be wanting to put as much temperature in their tyres so they can gap one another, as Hayden is only a second away from the drivers ahead. But I believe that it's just an exaggeration by the game, as they are very, very close. Weaving left and right, all over the track, trying to put heat in those tires, as Marcy makes a quick getaway. Wow, very, very quick, very, very early. That's definitely going to put some pressure on the drivers behind. 8/10 of a gap between Lightcast and Marcy, the person in P1, as Worm now finds himself wheel to wheel with their AI. Heavy braking by Worm gets the car stopped nicely, and Daisy also flies past. As Daisy also looking to go around the outside of Worm, but is going to quickly switch to the inside, I do not know, as they are almost touching the front wing and tyre, as Daisy goes for a send up the inside, and there's contact, and that sends Daisy into the wall, and Daisy has retired from the session. Marcy, 5/10 of a gap between them and Lightcast. This is becoming a very, very incredible and close race, with Marcy having a lot more ERS than Lightcast. Lucas not far behind, as the top six is only separated by about 2 or 3 seconds. No one going for a move into turn 1, as no one is close enough to go for a move, but the gap to P1 to P6 is only 2 seconds. This is becoming a very close race, as now we have 10 laps remaining. Or sorry, 11 laps, as Honey Badger gets a 3-second penalty after clipping the track limits a bit too much, trying to push them a bit too far. FIA say that's enough and gives him a 3-second penalty. Lightcast now 6/10 behind the leader, but that's still going closer and closer each lap, as Marcy currently has got ERS set to none, saving as much battery, and so will Lightcast, as we might maybe see them, oh my god, might see Lightcast make a move on Marcy into turn 1, as they fly around Lucas, and Hayden makes a position on Lucas, as that is the second time today we have seen them make a position into the final turn. DRS is open, ERS is on. That is going to be a move on the inside. It goes Lightcast. They both get the car stopped. Very close racing, and there's a bit of contact as they touch wheels, but otherwise a very, very clean move by these two. Lucas trying to maybe sneak a little peek on Hayden, but Hayden says no and closes the door, as oh my god, contact between Hayden and Honey Badger, as Honey Badger maybe didn't leave as much room as he could have, squeezing Hayden into a half spin. Luckily they both save it, and they both keep out the barrier and out of each other. But that does allow Lucas to get that move, and oh my god, Hayden has run wide. Into the gravel he goes. This is not becoming a very good race for him today. As Lightcast now still holds P1, as there is now even bigger gap between him and Marcy. Just as I look on them, maybe there was a bit of a slide into the turn, I do not know, but whatever it was costly. Marcy just closing more and more. onto Lightcasters. There's now only 3 tenths between them. But are they going... Is Marcy going to try for a move up the inside? No, they are not. They are going to be smart about this and not go for a very stupid move that could take both of them out of the race. Hayden still very close as there's a yellow flag. What's happened? Worm has spun. Worm finds himself facing the wrong way on the track, as I'm guessing they've just clipped the inside curb and clipped the gravel, spinning and unsettling the car. Honey Badger now finding themselves very, very close, but so's Marcy. 3 tenths between P1 and 2. Could we maybe see a move as Worm find themselves with a 3-second penalty? As now we're seeing Lightcaster maybe going to the pits. No, they are not. 5 tenths. 4.5. Yep, I will not see me pit as Honey Badger goes for a move on Lucas. Very good move, very clean, and very, very nice. As Worm is found with a 10-second speeding penalty and they retire from the race in the pit lane. That is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DNFs this race alone. Losing almost half the grid. We find Devils with their first or second pit stop this race. Marcy very, very close to P1 here. Almost going to go for a very big dive bomb, but backs out. But their tyres will definitely be starting to die now. They will have to make another pit stop. Maybe onto medium or soft tyres. We don't know what tyres they have left. Lightcast going to the right. As Hayden has made the move on Lucas. Same one he made before. As Marcy has just lost a lot of time in the final turn and will not be close enough for a move. As Hayden now passes Lucas. And Hayden's going to give Lucas a bit of a squeeze, but enough room to stay on the track and avoid any mistakes. A very, very, very close move, but it was still legal. As Lucas is now passing Lucas as well. Very, very funny. The Lucas is passing Lucas as he's going to go for the switchback, but he will not have enough pace to keep his nose in. As we now cross with 7 laps remaining, and Lucas is going to go for the Lucas in the ass, and they make the position. Hayden still pushing with all his might, trying to get back some of the points that he rightfully earned. 2 tenths back, 1.5 tenths back. He will not go for the move here, but he's definitely going to be forcing some pressure on Honey Badger, who has got that 3-second type of grid penalty, and he almost loses the rear end, but he gets him even before the DRS turns on. He's already ahead. 1.8 seconds between Hayden and P2, who is Marcy. Could we see maybe a Hayden comeback with a win or possibly a podium? Marcy now 9 tenths behind the leader, and it's now fallen to over a second. Could this be the tyre wear starting to kick in? Marcy definitely could be feeling the pressure from Hayden now, as they are on very, very fresh tyres compared to Marcy. It's now only 1 second. He will not have DRS straight, but if he carries on this pace, if he carries on with this time gain, he will definitely find himself in P2 at the end of this lap. Hayden trying to gather as much ERS as he can on this straight, so he can possibly maybe put a move on Marcy. As Lightcast is now set the fastest lap in the race on 12 laps old hard tyres. Incredible lap. Hayden now only 4 tenths behind Marcy, as we have seen him slowly get closer and closer to this P2 and possibly P1 position. Only 5 tenths separating these two now, as I can only imagine the great battle that will come between these two drivers. One of them is looking for a comeback, one of them is looking to make history from starting in P10. Six tenths between them now. This is one of the biggest gaps that they've had during this entire lap. But he gets brought down to 4.5 tenths, as now he's whacked on the ERS, he's whacked on the afterburners, he's opened the DRS, he's opened the rear wing. He's going to go defensive to the outside. And an incredible move by Hayden that sees him now in P2. After the race start where he bogged down, didn't get a good start, struggled to find the grip, he now finds himself back in his rightful place. Marcy struggling to keep up with Hayden, but is Hayden struggling to keep up with Lightcast? Not really. They are on very similar pace at the moment, but I would love to see a move happen here. As Lucas in the Haas now gets hit with a 3-second penalty after, I'm guessing, just running wide in Ascari, trying to find enough time to get himself back into the fight. Hayden with a great turn 1 and 2, trying to keep his car under control as Lucas now finds himself in the pit lane, maybe getting new tyres, getting off those 12 lap old mediums, and they've put on softs to go for the last 2 laps of the race. As we're now a quarter of the way to of 100 laps, Lightcast's tyres will definitely be dying, Hayden's not as much, but I believe this is how this might be finishing. Marcy definitely getting close to puncture territory now, as they have spent 12 laps on medium tyres. As Lightcast has been hit with a 3-second penalty, the leader has found themselves with a 3-second penalty as Marcy's made a mistake and have fallen to P4 on lap 25. Lightcast's race has just fell apart, as Hayden's now going to be pushing with all their might, trying to get into that 3-second gap so they can win on the penalty. Marcy going for a move on Honey Badger, and it's a very clean one as Honey Badger does not have DRS. Lucas Racing is just behind on 13 lap old hards, 13 lap old hards, 13 lap old mediums, 12 laps hard and 15 lap old hards. A 3 lap difference between these two drivers in the Kickstabbers P1 and 2. This could be a difference in strategy, a difference in setup, but no matter what, it will definitely be a tight finish for Hayden and Lightcast with the penalties. Hayden definitely pushing now. You can see him stumbling all over the racetrack trying to keep up, but he's instead losing time. Both of them on very similar battery levels, but I would just say Hayden has that little bit more, as Lucas is very close to Honey Badger. Could we see a move on this straight here? He is definitely burning battery. He's going to go to the left, and he's made the position. But they're banging tyres, banging wheels, and Lucas just has to back out so he can avoid any damage. But that will not be the end of his battle, he says. He's going to open the rear wing, burn the battery, get in the slipstream of the other Ferrari. But Honey Badger is going to definitely defend that, and he defends it well, as he almost hits the back of the other Ferrari of Marcy. A very, very big scrap for the third position, the final place in the podium, as now we are on the final lap. 3.7 seconds, Honey Badger taking Marcy once again. Marcy definitely going to be close to a puncture here. 14 lap on mediums is a very, very difficult strategy. But Lightcast with a 1 second buffer to Hayden is going to be very comfortable so far, but not yet. They are still going to be pushing all they can, as Lucas Racing 2004, the person in the Ferrari who's overtaken Honey Badger, is now with a 3-second penalty. Marcy will currently be getting P3 no matter what, even the penalties, as long as they've not got a puncture, but they are definitely nursing those tyres. But now we have got Lightcast, the person who's dominated the race from the start, goes through the final turn, burns the battery and wins the Season 4 Race 4 Monza Grand Prix. As Hayden comes with a P2, 1-2 finish for Kick-Sauber. Honey Badger goes to get P3, but with penalties, Marcy finds themselves in P3. Incredible race, P10 to P3 with a podium place. Honey Badger P4, Lucas Racing P5, Lucas ZGZ9 will finish P6, and we only have the bot of Devil, who is left in P7. And that is now the race over. And here we have got the Kick-Sauber on P1. And Marcy gets the cleanest driver. Most overtakes goes to Honey Badger. Driver of the day goes to Honey Badger. Lightcast is fastest lap and our race winner. Fastest lap goes to Lightcast, the person who won, even with a 3-second penalty, as we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 DNFs in this race. Wow, incredible race by these drivers. Can't wait to watch them race again next week, and until then I will see you later. Goodbye.